In the Hillsborough County courtroom, AliciaAndrews smiled like someone waiting for a misunderstanding to clear itself up. She laughed quietly beside her attorneys. She looked relaxed, calm, almost detached from the reality surrounding her. Prosecutors were describing a coordinated gang-related assassination that ended with a rapper being shot more than 30 times in a hotel parking lot. Yet Alicia behaved as if she were only a bystander accidentally caught in someone else's tragedy. That smile became one of the most disturbing images of the trial, because according to the prosecution, AliciaAndrews was never supposed to pull the trigger. She was never supposed to wear a mask or carry a rifle. Her role was far more valuable than that. She was the perfect disguise. In a violent war between Jacksonville gangs, where every rival face was recognized and every suspicious car could attract attention, Alicia represented something different. She was a young woman with no gang tattoos, no violent criminal history, and no obvious connection to the blood feud surrounding rapper Julio Fulio. She looked ordinary, safe, invisible, and prosecutors argued that was exactly why she became essential to the ambush. The murder of Julio Fulio did not begin in a parking lot. It began years earlier through screens, social media posts, diss tracks, and digital hatred that slowly transformed into real violence. Fulio, whose real name was Charles Jones II, grew up in Jacksonville surrounded by death and retaliation. His father was murdered when he was still a child. By his teenage years, he had entered the world of drill rap, where music often became an extension of gang warfare itself. Under the name Julio Fulio, he built a massive online following. Millions listened to his music, but alongside the fame came enemies. Rival crews like ATK and 1200 were locked in a cycle of revenge killings with Fulio's associates from 6 Block. Every murder led to another threat. Every funeral became material for another song or mocking social media post. The violence no longer stayed on the streets. It lived online 24 hours a day, and AliciaAndrews was watching all of it. According to investigators, Alicia followed Fulio's social media activity for years. Her phone contained screenshots, saved videos, and archived posts connected to him dating back to 2019. Yet when detectives questioned her after the murder, she claimed she barely knew who he was. That lie would become one of the biggest mistakes of her life. Because modern investigations do not rely only on eyewitnesses anymore. They rely on digital memory. Phones remember what people try to forget. On the 21st of June 2024, Fulio traveled to Tampa to celebrate his 26th birthday. Like many influencers and rappers, he documented the celebration online in real time. Instagram stories revealed the Airbnb location. Videos showed the pool party. Posts showed where he planned to perform later that night. What Fulio did not realize was that every upload functioned like a live GPS beacon for people hunting him. Meanwhile, 2 vehicles left Jacksonville and headed toward Tampa. Investigators later tracked them through license plate reader systems and cell tower data. One vehicle was a black Chevrolet Impala carrying the shooters. The second was a silver Chevrolet Cruze containing AliciaAndrews and her boyfriend Isaiah Chance. The prosecution later described the operation almost like a military convoy. The Impala carried firepower. The Cruze carried camouflage. That distinction mattered enormously. A group of armed men driving through Tampa in the middle of the night would immediately attract suspicion, but a young couple moving between clubs looked harmless. Prosecutors argued Alicia's gender and appearance became part of the strategy itself. She was not simply present. She was concealment. Throughout the night, surveillance footage captured the 2 vehicles moving in coordination. At Teaser's Gentlemen's Club, the Cruze arrived first. At Truth 18 nightclub, the Cruze arrived first again. Then the Impala appeared shortly afterward both times. Investigators later testified that Isaiah Chance repeatedly used Alicia's phone to contact the shooters while she sat beside him. Calls were made. Locations were confirmed. Movements were synchronized. The operation was unfolding through her device in real time. And perhaps most chilling of all, this was not random hatred born overnight. Just 2 weeks before the killing, investigators uncovered evidence of online hostility between Fulio and Isaiah Chance through Twitter Spaces conversations. The insults, threats, and gang rivalry had already escalated publicly across social media platforms long before Tampa. The digital war was becoming a physical one. Then came the message prosecutors believed exposed Alicia's true mindset. A text recovered from her phone from 2021 reads simply, "Julio needed to die." 3 years before the ambush, the hatred already existed. That single sentence shattered the defense narrative that Alicia was merely an innocent girlfriend dragged into someone else's violence. Prosecutors strategically revealed the message late in the trial, allowing it to land with maximum impact. The courtroom reportedly fell silent, because suddenly the case was no longer about whether Alicia physically fired a weapon. It became about whether she willingly helped guide the killers to their target, and the evidence kept growing. Investigators discovered Alicia changed phones only 3 days after the murder. Prosecutors argued it was not coincidence, it was evidence destruction. They also uncovered deleted conversations with Isaiah Chance after the shooting. Jail calls later revealed continued communication between them even after the arrests. Then came the final movements before the ambush. By early morning, Julio and his entourage had relocated to the Home 2 Suites Hotel near the University of South Florida after being removed from the Airbnb party. Julio posted the new location online himself. That mistake sealed his fate. Surveillance footage showed Alicia's Chevrolet Cruze circling the hotel parking lot multiple times around 4:30 the morning. Investigators said the vehicle was confirming the target location for the shooters waiting nearby in the Impala. Inside that second vehicle were armed men carrying rifles and pistols equipped with brass catchers designed to prevent shell casings from falling onto the ground. Prosecutors described the attack as highly organized and tactically planned. This was not emotional chaos. This was preparation. Moments later, 3 masked gunmen crossed the parking lot in darkness and opened fire on Julio's Dodge Charger. The attack created what experts sometimes call a vortex of fire, overlapping streams of bullets designed to overwhelm the target completely. Prosecutors argued the shooters achieved fire supremacy within seconds, unleashing devastating force before anyone inside the vehicle could react. More than 30 rounds tore through the area. Julio died inside the car. 3 others were wounded. And then the convoy disappeared into the night. But digital evidence followed them everywhere. Cell tower pings, license plate readers, Instagram activity, phone calls, surveillance cameras. Every piece connected AliciaAndrews directly to the coordinated movements leading up to the murder. Yet, when detectives interviewed her, they noticed something strange. She did not appear terrified. She did not break down emotionally. According to testimony, Detective Juan Ramos believed Alicia seemed irritated more than frightened. While Julio's family mourned the violent execution of their son, Alicia appeared focused on minimizing her own role. Julio's mother later described the killing in heartbreaking terms. She said her son had been hunted, like a deer in the woods. The image perfectly captured the prosecution's argument. This was not spontaneous violence, it was pursuit. And Alicia, prosecutors argued, helped guide the hunters. Still, the defense fought aggressively to reshape the narrative. Alicia's attorneys argued she was a victim of domestic violence and coercive control by Isaiah Chance. They introduced photographs of bruises. They described a toxic relationship where Chance controlled her clothing, her social media posts, and even her movements. Alicia testified that she feared him. She claimed she obeyed him because she did not know how to escape the relationship. For some jurors, that explanation created doubt. But prosecutors immediately attacked the contradiction. If Alicia truly feared Isaiah Chance so deeply, why did she continue communicating with him constantly after his arrest? Why did records show repeated phone calls between them while he sat in jail? Why continue sending messages to a man she supposedly feared? The prosecution argued the answer was loyalty, not fear of violence, loyalty to the relationship, loyalty to the crew surrounding him, loyalty stronger than fear of prison itself. That psychological contradiction became one of the most fascinating elements of the trial. Alicia tried to present herself as both powerless and uninvolved. Yet the digital evidence repeatedly suggested participation, coordination, and long-term emotional investment in the feud surrounding Julio. After 8 days of testimony, the jury finally reached a verdict. Not first-degree murder, but not innocence either. AliciaAndrews was convicted of manslaughter. The verdict reflected a complicated conclusion. Jurors appeared unconvinced that Alicia planned the killing itself, but they also believed her actions directly contributed to the death. She was not the shooter, but she became part of the mechanism that allowed the shooting to happen. The woman who never touched a trigger still helped create the road that led bullets to Julio. She now faces up to 15 years in prison, and perhaps that is the most disturbing lesson hidden inside this case. Modern gang violence no longer operates only through guns and street corners. It moves through phones, Instagram stories, location tags, deleted texts, and digital loyalty. In that world, someone does not need to carry a rifle to become part of a murder. Sometimes all they need to do is hold the phone that guides the killers there.